Not long ago, I had the rare privilege of listening to a presentation by the remarkable neurosurgeon Dr. Ben Carson. Dr. Carson has been speaking for about 20 years, but it was only after he demolished Obamacare, with President Obama just sitting a few feet away at a prayer breakfast a few months ago, that his demand has skyrocketed. His is an amazing story. Dirt poor upbringing, a mother with a third-grade education who would take the family to various farmers' houses and offer to pick 4 bushels of apples or tomatoes for free, 3 for the farmer and 1 for her family. It's the classic American story of hard work, discipline, education, persistence, and true grit. So let's bring on your trifecta stalwarts, Scott Ott and Steve Green, to talk about the most remarkable statement I heard from this remarkable man. Gents, towards the close of the evening, Dr. Carson, speaking on the value of learning and education, said, and this is practically verbatim, "Yes, I have a big house and I have a couple of cars and money and jewels, but they don't amount to a hill of beans. I could lose them all tomorrow, and in a year, I'd have them all back because of what I have up here." Now, Steve, that went through me like a diamond bullet because it showed that wealth is in fact earned, that for the vast majority of rich Americans, wealth is not luck, it's not education, it's not even hard work. There are lots of hardworking people with educations who are flat broke. It made me realize that wealth is a series of habits and disciplines. Wealth is a skill set. How dangerous is this realization to the progressive left?
Well, there's no realization. There's no revelation. It's not news. Bill, they know it. They've always known it. That's why they despise it so much. That's why they hate it. That's why they try and deny it. It's why they try to eliminate it every chance they get. At least since the French Revolution went south, the political left around the world has been decrying and deriding bourgeoisie or middle class values, because they know that if anybody can get ahead, then what do you need victim groups for? And without victim groups, what the hell do you need vile progressives for? You don't need them. They're leeches, and they need victims.
From now on, I'm just going to revert to them as vile progressives. I'm never going to say progressive again without adding the vile. They're vile progressives. That's what they are. Awesome.
I never do
Scott, listening to Dr. Carson, you get the impression that he knows that real wealth is internal. Happiness, taking care of your family, bettering yourself. Throughout his childhood, his mother made her children write 2 book reports a week. Dr. Carson said after a while he came to enjoy it because books would let him escape poverty and go anywhere and be anyone, at least for a while. Now, I know you take the same care with your children, and I know it's not easy, but is it worth it? And if so, why?
Well, there's a movie about Ben Carson called Gifted Hands, I believe, came out in 2009. You can watch it on Netflix or get it on DVD. Totally worth watching. A tremendously powerful story, and from what I understand, sticks pretty close to his life story. I was abandoned by my parents when I was a kid. My dad ran away from home when I was 5. My mom ran away when I was 6. And so I became sort of a living Rodney Dangerfield joke. My parents moved 12 times when I was a kid, but I found them every time. Unfortunately, I didn't find them, but my grandparents found me. And I was brought up by Jim and Jessica McMaster. And Nan, which is what we call Jessica, her idea of a good time on an afternoon when we came home from school was asking the kids if they had any homework. And if they said no, she said, "Oh, good, because I have some for you." And then she would sit us down and make us do, depending on our age, times tables or write a report or whatever. When we were traveling in the car, going somewhere, more often than not, Nan would get us involved in a spelling contest. It was just her constant motivation to make sure that her boys got a better education than she ever did. And I can see that same thing in Ben Carson, and I know that story is multiplied many times across this country. It's what makes this nation great.
You're a good man, Scotty Ott. They must have been great people. Now, Ben Carson is an inspiration. He is, without question, one of the most blindingly intelligent men I've ever met. But it's not intelligence that was the key to his success. It was the discipline and habits of delayed gratification instilled by his mother, who went through virtually all of her life, as I said, with a third-grade education, only to go back to school late in life and get a PhD, so that now, in Dr. Carson's words, there are 2 Dr. Carsons. These skills can be learned, and they can be taught. His mother refused to take the family on welfare because she said that she never saw a family go on welfare that ever came off it. And if it were my goal to infantilize the population and make them dependent on handouts so that I could control them politically, I would be very, 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 very worried that Dr. Ben Carson gets a bigger microphone. For PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle.